Hi everyone, I know it's been a little while since I've done a video, even though I promised I have a heap to do, and I do indeed have a heap to do. I'm going to try and do some tags tonight and a little book haul for you, and then I'll try and get into the reviews that I owe you all. So I'm doing the 7 deadly sins of reading tag this evening, and I'll put the link to the lovely person who began this very, very popular tag. I know it was adapted from the 7 deadly sins of beauty tag, but it's very popular in the booktuber community at the moment. And yes, I'm wearing my pajamas and no makeup. Deal with it. No, I'm too lazy, and I tend to find I'd rather do these videos at night time for whatever reason. I don't know, I find more motivation to do things in the evening. So rockin' pajamas. Okay, so first question: Greed, what is your most expensive book? There's quite a few of them. They tend to be either textbooks that I had to get for uni, or really geeky books about very specific things. So like I think my Norton Anthology of English Literature Volume 2, it was $60. It might have been more. It might well have been more, but I think it was 60 or 55 or something, and I had to get that for uni. So, but it's come in handy, and I still use it. My 1001 books you must read before you die, and my 1001 movies you must read before you die. I think where I purchased them from was probably the stupidest place. I think I got them at the ABC shop, and they were maybe $80 there or $70. So that was pretty crazy, but they're awesome. Of course, they're awesome. So they're worth the money, but yeah, it was probably a silly place to get them. Stuff like my Spring Awakening in the Flesh book, which is my Spring Awakening geek book, really. I got it from Amazon. I think it might have been $50 or so. It could have even been more than that. But it's brilliant, and I had to have it, of course, so I got that. And then this one is my Disney Visual Encyclopedia, and who doesn't want a Disney Visual Encyclopedia Ultimate Guide thing? And I know it was like surprisingly expensive. It might have been over $50 as well, very likely. And then there's I know there's more books that like follow the vein of this, like something very specific that I'm a big fan of, and they tend to cost a lot of money. So, and they're almost always in hardback too, so that would account for some of it. And my least expensive book, aside from obviously books I've been given for free and stuff, purchased that I can recall, I was really happy, as you know, to get The Night Circus by Audrey Nymphnega by Erin Morgenstern. Why am I... this is what I'm like in the evening, see, I'm extra insane. Anywho, I was very happy to get The Night Circus secondhand for $2 as opposed to $32, so I was very proud of that. Rat. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. And I'm not editing that out because I don't edit these videos, can't you tell? Rat, what author do you have a love-hate relationship with? Now, I was going to say something very controversial in response to this, and I might as well just do it. Please don't hate me, everybody, especially Melissa and all fellow nerd fighters. I do not hate John Green's writing. I do not. No, I do not. In many respects, I love it. And I love the man, of course I love him, and I will pretty much worship him, and I think he's brilliant and wonderful and lovely, and I really do like his writing. It's just something about it every now and then can piss me off, something about the style, and I think because I tend to find it not entirely believable for teenagers, his teenage characters, to speak and articulate their thoughts the way that they do. I love how it is, but that tends to just be something that it bugs me, and I hate that it bugs me because I sound so evil by saying that and admitting to that, so I'm very sorry if I offend or upset anyone by saying that. I love John Green, I promise. But someone that just occurred to me, I thought would be a good answer, is Lani Taylor, because she wrote, as you know, The Daughter of Smoke and Bone, and I really did enjoy the first half of that book, really enjoyed it, and then when the romance kicked in, I was so pissed off. And to be fair, the way it was written, the romance was still good, but it was so predictable and trite and done to death and superficial, and it drove me insane. But I loved the book overall for the concept I loved, and I recently found her Lips Touched 3 Times anthology of short stories, and I've read them all, and really, really bloody loved them. So, yeah, I wanted to kind of strangle her during Daughter of Smoke and Bone, because it was going so well before the romance came along, so she's someone who occurred to me. Don't hate her, I just hate what she did with the book. Yeah. Gluttony. What book have you deliciously devoured over and over again, no shame whatsoever? As with many folks in their answer to this, mine are classics. Not Pride and Prejudice, no Austen, but my Anne of Green Gables by Ellen Montgomery, as you can see by how battered it is and the fact that it has a special Anne bookmark in it. And to be fair, like the first 3 of the Anne series I've read over and over, but especially this one, because it's falling apart and it's held together by tape, as is this, which is My Little Women, which also has a special themed bookmark in it. So, yeah, and it's falling apart too. So definitely those 2. They're they're comfort books, very much so. And it's just worlds I love to return to and characters I adore, and mwah, 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 I love them. Sloth. What book what book have you neglected to read due to laziness? Well, I'm gonna have to admit it, at least 3/4 of everything on my bookshelves is unread. I know, it's horrible, I know. And I have a problem. I keep buying books and not reading them. It's terrible, and that means I have to do that book buying obsession tag too. But one that's occurring to me, and I'm too lazy to walk over and grab it. My friend Dom gave me The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde for my 17th birthday. My 17th birthday was 9 years ago. 9 years ago. Oh my. I've not read it yet. I know all about it, of course, and I love Oscar Wilde, but I've not read the book yet. Oh dear, so 9 years. See if you can beat that. I'm sure there's something that's been there longer. I'm sure there is, but that one's the one that sticks in my head, because I know Dom hates me for it. Pride. What book do you talk most about in order to sound like a very intellectual reader? Well, I know I do this a lot, and I don't mean to, but I knowingly do it, so I apologize. I tend to just throw crap around to make myself sound smart, even though I'm not at all. But I think I often do it when discussing fairy tales and fairy tale retellings and things, because that's something I really, really geek out over. And it was something I got to study at uni, and it was so much fun, and I've never had so much fun learning before. And so, I've read, like, a lot of fairy tale, like, anthologies and collections and essays and that sort of thing. Like, I devoured and reread Bruno Bettelheim's, is it The Meaning of Fairy Tales? I always forget what it's called. But, loved that. It's like, you know, it's not a novel, but I just reread it a million times during high school because I thought it was fun. I also read The Hero with 1,000 Faces by Joseph Campbell. I read that quite a few times too. I've read Ovid's Metamorphosis, so I know the Greek myths quite well, and dog-eared quite a few of them. And then, like, random facts I just get from, I love books about books, because that's another thing I geek out over. So, like, I've got this, The Literary Companion, I've got the Film Companion as well, and they're just so much fun, and there's random shit that you do not need to know, but it's all in here about books and the history of literature, and it's so much fun. So I try and memorize facts from in here and just quote them. No reason. It's so much fun. Oh my goodness. Last. What attributes do you find most attractive in male and female characters? Okay. I could make really vague, like, statements like, if you're a male, don't be an arrogant, condescending douchebag, and if you're a girl, don't be a brainless, overly trusting, superficial dimwit. But all of those things are fine, I think, so long as they're not painted as being a positive attribute, and so long as they're not glossed over in the lieu of, you know, like an excuse of the romance or an excuse of the relationship between the characters or something. I think if you're gonna be a douchebag, own it and be honest about it. If you're gonna be a dimwit, if you're gonna be a bitch, if you're gonna be bloody stupid, no matter what your sex is as a character, then just, you know, admit to that. I think the authors should. That's why I like villains, because you know they're meant to be assholes. as opposed to characters who have really assholic traits, but you're meant to like them. So I tend to just, yeah, I have problems when there's nothing likable about the characters you're meant to like. So, yeah, and I guess I do tend to have more problems with male characters, but I think that's because they're almost always the romantic object, like the object of affection for the protagonist, who's almost always female. So, because they're meant to be admired and adored and things, I nitpick them because often I do not like their personality at all. So, yeah, I just think if it could just be blatantly obvious and stated that these people aren't actually nice, then I wouldn't have a problem. But because they're meant to come across as being awesome, and I hate them, then that wasn't an answer. I like flawed characters who are knowingly flawed. That's a response. There you go. Knowing if you own your flaws and the fact that you're not fantastic human being or a gift from God or anything like that, then I'm okay with you. I'm okay. And the last question is envy. What books would you I can't talk. What books would you most like to receive as a gift? I think I don't need any more non-fiction books, like my geeky things. I don't need any more of them because I own plenty, and I own plenty that I still haven't read. I do admittedly love receiving books about Harry Potter. So, I mean, if I could ever receive the brilliant film companion book thing, the big one that's hardback and beautiful and really expensive, I would admittedly love to receive that. I think if I had to ask for novels off people, probably the best thing to get would be some adult fiction, even though a lot of my adult fiction I still haven't read. I'd feel less guilty asking for that than I think I would young adult, considering I have so much young adult. So yeah, if I had to ask for something, I think I would be asking for some general adult fiction, maybe magical realism stuff. But as I said, I have so many I haven't read anyway. But yeah, that Harry Potter book. I've forgotten what the bloody thing's called, but you know what I'm talking about. The big one. The hardback thing with the beauty and the awesomeness and the information and the pictures and yeah, that one. Would love that. Yeah, I think that's about it for that tag, and this video is probably too long, so I'm going to get going and do some more stuff.